Welcome back. We start with mixed martial arts. Fight Night 143, the first on the new ESPN Plus platform. We'll see Bantamweight champion TJ Dillashaw take on Flyweight champion Henry Cejudo for the UFC's Flyweight title. Joining me now to discuss the card, TSN's UFC content editor, Aaron Bronsteter. Aaron, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Jordan.
All right, let's talk about the card itself, specifically the main event. It's for the Flyweight title. Many Flyweight fighters in the UFC have either been released or left, with rumors that the Flyweight division will be abolished, especially if Dillashaw wins. Has the card been getting its due amount of promotion? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that this is getting the appropriate amount of hype. It's all over ESPN. I've seen pop-ups all over Brooklyn as well, where people can go and test their punching power. I think ESPN's doing a great job of promoting this particular event. It just feels that much bigger now that it's on ESPN. All the biggest sports are on ESPN in the US, and I think that this has gotten more than enough promotion, if not more promotion than it would have gotten on pay-per-view, because ESPN's actually airing this on their new OTT platform, ESPN Plus. So I think that both Cejudo and Dillashaw are the beneficiaries of this, and I think that it's going to be a phenomenal fight, champion versus champion. Now that the weigh-ins are done, we know that both guys are on weight, that question mark is solved, and you can focus on the X's and O's of the fight, and I think it's a fascinating one.
All right, let's break down those X's and O's. Dillashaw, an incredible striker. Cejudo, a wrestler, an Olympic gold medalist. How do you see this fight playing out?
Yeah, speaking of the X's and O's, I think with Dillashaw, he actually looked possibly even better than Cejudo on the scale today. Dillashaw is going to be an interesting matchup for Cejudo, because if Dillashaw can keep this standing, he's just a better volume striker, a more technical striker. We saw what Cejudo did to Demetrius Johnson, so I'm never going to doubt Henry Cejudo. But if this stays standing, you got to give an advantage to Dillashaw. Now, if it gets into the wrestling, Dillashaw is an unbelievable MMA wrestler, whereas Cejudo is, an Olympic gold medalist. I actually think the wrestling is going to offset here. I don't think that there's going to be a whole lot of takedowns on either side. But if Henry is able to take Dillashaw down, that's Henry's world, and I think Henry can do some damage in that regard, and that's probably his best path to winning.
Let's talk about UFC in the new year. An incredible amount of fights have already been signed. Of course, you got Robert Whittaker versus Kelvin Gastelum for the middleweight title. You got Kamaru Usman facing the welterweight champion Tyron Woodley. You've got the debut of Ben Askren versus Robbie Lawler. You got the return of Cain Velasquez versus Francis Ngannou. Incredible stuff. Which fight do you like the best and why?
Yeah, lots of big fights coming up, and I'm really excited. The one that sticks out to me, which might not be the one that everybody's thinking of, is the Ben Askren debut. I think Ben Askren is one of these guys where people have always questioned just how good he is, especially in most recent years when he's been in one championship. He really didn't have a good challenge. When he was back in Bellator, fought Andre Koreshkov, fought Douglas Lima, two of the best welterweights in the world. Now in the UFC, facing the likes of Robbie Lawler, possibly a Kamaru Usman, or Colby Covington down the line. He's really going to be tested, and I think that if he gets past that first test in Robbie Lawler, the sky's the limit for Ben. The UFC seems to really like his attitude of just calling people out, calling his own shots, and I think that he's going to thrive in the UFC with that kind of mindset.
All right, that's UFC content editor for TSN in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, Aaron Bronsteter. Aaron, thank you as always.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jordan. Always a pleasure.
Guys, back to you.
The gold medal, the flag.